आवाज़ आ रही है मेरी? Can somebody confirm whether my voice is clear? Mic testing, hello, 1 2 3. Can somebody tell me whether my voice is clear? Yes, no, anyone? डिस्टर्बेंस है? ज़्यादा डिस्टर्बेंस है ना, आई गेस. What about now? हो रहा है so. So let's try to anyways do this. Not a lot of content is remaining. Okay. So if you see, we were discussing about due to technical issues, we were not able to complete the previous class. But nevertheless, so we were studying about Atal Pension Yojana. Atal Pension Yojana, I was telling you about that how much subscriber base is women and how much subscriber base is youth. That data is very much important. So you can see female subscriber base is at 48.5%. Isn't it? And the younger cohort in the age group of 18 to 25 have a share of 46.7%. And this is as per the previous year data. And if you see, the 92% of the APY accounts have chosen the pension amount of 1000 per month, followed by 4.57% of 5000. And if I ask you how many different types of pension contribution are there in Atal Pension Yojana, what you guys gonna tell me? Anyone? How many types are there? So there are actually 5 type of pension amount that you can do contribution for. Okay? So please make sure that you remember this. And if you see the asset under management, that the total amount of funds received by the pension fund manager, it has increased to 4% in financial year 24. Okay? So please make sure that you remember this. Next, content is obviously very much important for descriptive, because if you see, this contains the data with respect to mechanisms to ensure regulatory coordination and overall financial stability. in which the role of Financial Sector Development Council is very much important, where all the respective regulators do come, okay, and they all discuss the overall financial stability and how we can improve upon it. They also releases biannual financial stability report. The latest one you guys must have already studied. Lastly, Financial Sector Assessment Program for India. It's a quinquennial exercise jointly conducted by IMF as well as World Bank, especially in countries that are having systematically important financial sectors. Okay, so India's FSAP exercises first was done in 2011 and 12, second in 2017, and the third exercise is currently underway for 23-24. Please make sure that you remember the number of times these exercises have been done, the agencies that jointly conducts this exercise. Okay. Next, Financial Stability Report publishes its annual report on the implementation and effects of G20 financial regulatory reforms. And the color-coded template in the report highlights the extent of sectoral implementation of FSB principles and standards. These are the priority areas that you all need to remember, which is Basel III norms, compensation, over-the-counter derivatives, resolution, and NBFIs. Now we will see what were the major reforms taken by India under each pillar. So Basel III pillar, all of you understand that RBI tried to incorporate Basel III norms requirement for CAR. So capital adequacy ratio के context में Basel III required how much percentage? Anyone? It required 8% and RBI mandated 9% for scheduled commercial banks. Okay? Next is compensation pillar. India already has in place standards for sound compensation practices. Over the counter pillar, that means derivatives or agreements or securities being traded without exchange. So you can see India made significant progress, as more than 90% of the OTC derivatives now follow trade reporting, central clearing, and platform trading requirements. Next, we have NBFI pillars. So to ensure resilience of NBFC sector, India is the only jurisdiction among 24 reported by FSB in total compliance with SFT requirement, which is security financing transactions requirement. So these are the things which are in bold that you guys need to remember from the objective perspective, but most of the things are important for descriptive purpose only. So again, we will utilize the same data in the context of whenever you will be giving phase 1. Phase 1 ke baad we will be generating questions on the basis of economic survey that will definitely help you in the descriptive paper. And if you see the financial system stress indicator, RBI in its financial stability report attempted to compile comprehensive indicator called financial system stress indicator to monitor how much aggregate stress level is there in the Indian financial system. So the latest data, as you can see, the findings, the stress is considerably at a low in the past 5 years. We are standing at a very low stress. And lastly, assessment and outlook. If you see, domestic credit to the private sector as a percentage of GDP, that has increased to 54.7% in 2021. And economic survey says that the outlook of India looks bright. We will be achieving Viksit Bharat by 2047. And we need to ensure robust financial services, which includes high competitive banking sector, universal access to banking services to all citizens, low intermediation costs, efficient and quick access to credit and equity funding. Now, statements like this, you guys should utilize as a conclusion whenever you need to talk about Viksit Bharat by 2047 in context of monetary management or let's say financial intermediation. And what are the tasks for India in context of financial sector? India's financial sector needs to support capital formation and promote trade business and investments in MSMEs particularly. Please make sure जब भी आपको इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ की बात कर रही हो, MSMEs, women, जितने भी प्रायोरिटी सेक्टर लेंडिंग में है people, उन सब के बारे में आप ज़रूर बात करेंगे. It also needs to provide insurance protection and retirement security. Lastly, continuous review to identify regulatory gaps and overlaps, which is very much essential because as of all of you know that India's financial sector is so much dynamic with advent of so much new technology like AI, ML, blockchain. The financial sector is undergoing numerous innovations. So what RBI is asking and what any regulator is asking, that we need to continuously monitor if there is any gap in the regulatory space, and we further close those gaps. That's what the idea is. Okay? MSMEs, insurance penetration, and specifically regulatory gaps is what economic survey is trying to ask you to focus upon. So that's what the chapter 2 is all about. Okay? From the next class onwards, at least for RBI people who are giving RBI this year, make sure that these first 2 chapters you do by heart. ठीक है, आप लोग के लिए पहले 2 चैप्टर बहुत ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. नाबार्ड वालों के लिए फर्स्ट चैप्टर इज इंपॉर्टेंट, देन एग्रीकल्चर, एम्प्लॉयमेंट as well as climate change chapters are important. So from next class onwards we'll be doing further chapters. So thank you guys for joining. We'll meet in the next session. Thank you. Sammy, you should do both actually. You should do it from June only. Try to do, if you have less time, try to do it backwards. That means from August, July, June. Try to do like this. This will help you score more marks.